So guys, you know what the situation has been at the wide receiver room going into this offseason. Buffalo had Khalil Shakir locked in as the guy underneath, but outside of him, there was no real proven number one that could take pressure off and stretch a defense. And instead of just running it back with the same group again, Brandon Beane went out and made a trade for a guy who's put up over 1,000 yards a season for basically his whole career, even with some rough quarterback situations behind him. What's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Alright, so let me get into it because this deal is a bigger swing than people are giving it credit for. The receiver they landed is DJ Moore, and once you actually sit down and look at his numbers, the trade starts making a whole lot more sense. This guy's been in the league 8 seasons now, and he's put up over 8,000 receiving yards in that span. That's averaging more than 1,000 yards a year, which, honestly, when you think about the quarterbacks he's had throwing him the ball, is kind of wild. I mean, go back and look at his career, guy by guy. His rookie year, it was Cam Newton on the way out the door in Carolina. Then it's Kyle Allen as the starter. Then Teddy Bridgewater. Then a mix of Sam Darnold before he figured things out and an aging Cam Newton for a random stretch. Then it's Baker Mayfield before Baker became the guy we know now in Tampa. Then he gets traded to Chicago and it's Justin Fields. Then it's a rookie, Caleb Williams. And then last year, it's Caleb Williams again in a Bears offense that, look, had its moments, but was mostly just kind of a mess with a new head coach trying to figure things out on the fly. And through all of that, DJ Moore still averaged over 1,000 yards a season. That right there tells you something about the guy. Now, last year was rough for him production-wise, no doubt about that. He had a career low in yards. But here's the thing, guys. He still finished second on that Bears team in receiving yards, only behind their rookie tight end. So it wasn't like he fell off a cliff. It's more like the offense around him wasn't functioning the way it needed to. And honestly, if you dig into the route data, his catchable target rate was near the bottom of the league among receivers who ran a real workload of routes. That's not on him, that's on the quarterback play and the overall structure of that offense. And I think that's exactly why this move makes sense for Buffalo, because now you're taking a guy who averaged 1,000+ yards a season with shaky quarterback play, and you're handing him Josh Allen. Like, think about that for a second. This is, without argument, the best quarterback DJ Moore has ever played with in his career. So if he could do what he did with Kyle Allen and Justin Fields and rookie Caleb Williams, I'm genuinely curious to see what he looks like with a guy who can actually push the ball down the field and put it where it needs to be. On top of that, the guy's durable, right? He's missed basically nothing in his career, like 2 games total in 8 seasons. So you're not worried about him being banged up and unavailable, which we'll get to why that matters even more in a minute. He's got the size, he can win vertically, he can make guys miss after the catch, and he runs a full route tree. This isn't a one-trick guy. This is a legit number 1 receiver, and Buffalo hasn't had that next to Khalil Shakir in a long time. Now, let's talk about Khalil Shakir for a second, because I think this move at receiver does something for him that people aren't really talking about enough. Shakir was productive last year in terms of catches, don't get me wrong, but if you look at how shallow his targets were, it's almost concerning. He was getting some of the shortest average target depth of any high-volume receiver in the entire league last year. And what's worse, his effectiveness actually dropped as the season went on. Early in the year, he was doing real damage, and by the back half of the season, it dropped off hard. The role became too predictable, too many quick game throws, too many manufactured touches, instead of letting him actually run the route tree he's capable of running. And that's the part that gets me excited, honestly, because Khalil Shakir has legit skills across the board. He can win in the short game, sure, but he can also work the middle of the field, he can run option routes, he's got the speed to threaten defenses vertically when they let him. Joe Brady has talked about wanting to expand his role, using him inside and outside, not just running the same handful of concepts every single week. And I think adding DJ Moore is what actually opens that door, because now defenses can't just sit on Shakir and take away the easy stuff. They've got to respect DJ Moore too, and that should open up exactly the kind of usage that Shakir's been missing. Now, I do want to bring up some things that concern me here too, because it's not all sunshine. First one, and this is just reality, DJ Moore still has to acclimate to this offense. Having a talented player show up doesn't automatically mean instant chemistry. We've seen it go both ways with Josh Allen and new guys. Some guys click almost right away, other guys it takes time to build that rapport, to get the timing down, to understand how each other reads a defense. So yeah, I'm excited about the fit on paper, but it still has to actually happen on the field. That part isn't guaranteed just because the tools are there. Second concern, and this one's been nagging at me for a while now, is Palin's health. I liked what Palmer brought to this offense on tape, genuinely. The route running is clean, the ball skills are real, but the guy just can't stay on the field. Look at his injury history. It's a concussion here, knee there, ankle, foot. It's been a rotating list of issues pretty much every season of his career. And from what we're hearing out of this spring, he's still working off to the side without a clear timetable. That's concerning, because if he's not full go by camp, he's going to fall behind in a room that's got real competition for reps now. Which leads into my third concern, and it's about how this affects the base personnel grouping. Buffalo runs 3 receivers on the field as their primary formation, more than any other grouping last season. So if Shakir and Moore are 2 of those 3 spots, who's the third guy consistently? If Palmer can't stay healthy, that puts a lot of pressure right back on Keon Coleman to be that guy. And look, Coleman flashed early in his rookie year, no doubt, but since then it's been up and down, and there's been visible frustration from the coaching staff about him not doing the little things to maximize his opportunities. So there's real urgency on him this year to prove he belongs in that mix, because the margin for error just got smaller with DJ Moore now soaking up targets. Now, here's some stuff I'm genuinely curious about heading into the season. First, are DJ Moore and Khalil Shakir going to be true high-volume guys? Because if I had to bet, I'd say those 2, along with the tight end room, are going to eat up the majority of the targets in this passing game. The question is how much gets left over for everybody else, and who actually claims that role? Is it Coleman? Is it Palmer if he's healthy? Or does a rookie like Keon Coleman, does a guy like Skylar Bell end up carving out more early snaps than people expect? I love his skill set. The after-catch ability is legit, but I don't think anyone's expecting a massive role for him as a rookie. Still, if Palmer is banged up, that door could open faster than planned. Second thing I'm curious about is how many receivers this roster actually keeps. I'd guess 5 for sure, maybe 6 if the depth ends it. You've got your locks in Moore, Shakir, Coleman, and Palmer, but is there a 6th spot, and who takes it? There's a mix of guys competing there, some speed and special teams types, and I think whoever wins that battle is probably valued more for blocking and coverage work than for being a real factor in the passing game. And then there's the name that keeps coming up in the background, Brandon Cooks. He's talked openly about wanting to return, and given his history as one of the better vertical separators this team has had in recent memory, I wouldn't be shocked if he ends up back in the building at some point this season, especially if there's an injury. He's not walking in as a 70-target guy, but as a field-stretching piece in specific packages, I think there's real value there. Last thing on my mind is Tyrell Shavers and his recovery. Torn ACL late last season, and now you're wondering when he's actually back to full speed. There's no off-season ramp-up for him, no training camp reps to build that trust back up, so it's fair to wonder if this ends up being a lost year for him, or if he can work his way back into the mix once the season gets rolling. So overall, look, I think this receiver room, on paper, is the most complete group Buffalo's had in a long time. DJ Moore gives Josh Allen a legitimate number 1 for the first time in years. Khalil Shakir should see his role expand in a good way, and there's real competition and urgency across the rest of the depth chart. But it still has to play out on the field. The chemistry has to build, Palmer has to stay healthy, and Coleman has to take that next step. If those pieces fall into place, this offense could look a whole lot different than it has the past few seasons.